to make is we're starting our Timothy study. If we've got the graphic image up for we always have these thumbnails made by Heather Bernert that represent the entire study. You can see that it's titled Truth for Love. And when I was talking to her about it, studying Timothy, there's this verse in Timothy that says that the aim of our charge is love that issues from a pure heart, a good conscience, and a sincere faith. Right? And I just literally thought of someone aiming, when you talk about arrows, you talk about arrows that are true, and it means that they're straight and they'll fly straight. And then when we talk about love, obviously the idea of a heart comes in mind. And our world is a world where truth is no longer required for something to be called love. And therefore love is no longer conditioned by the truth. And we're finding out more and more that when you remove truth from the concept of love, it becomes something really crooked, something not true, obviously, and something that harms people. And so if we're going to learn from a master teacher and master theologian by the name of Paul, what he would have a pastor in the original church do regarding having a love that's actually true, it's going to be something that's very relevant for us, something that I hope that we learn, and something that's really captured my heart from the letter to Timothy, and it's true for both books, is the idea that when we witness of the truth, if we're doing that with a heart of love that comes from a pure heart, a good conscience, and a sincere faith, it doesn't take sort of personality boldness. It doesn't take screwing up a bunch of courage to finally tell someone something that you think they might reject. Think of parents who are telling their children something whom they love. Parents love their children, and even Jesus says that we, give good gifts to our kids, and how much more God. But think about the idea of telling one of your kids, a young kid. It's easier to tell the truth to young kids. They're not so quick to unfriend you, or even if they do, they're right back the next day, So you tell them the truth because you love them. And we have been called, especially through the book of Daniel, especially as we're racing towards the end times, to be uncompromising in our faith and stand up for what is true. And to remind ourselves and be reminded by God that that is in the service of love. Why would you tell someone that the way that they're living and the way that they're orienting their lives is destructive to them? You would tell them that because you love them. And to withhold that from them is unloving. But what is our culture telling us? Our culture is telling us to tell someone that the way that they're living and the way that they're orienting their lives is wrong, is actually hateful. And so our culture says the exact opposite of truth for love, or love that is conditioned by the truth. And I don't know if you've ever just decided in your heart, you know what, I love this person enough that I'm going to tell them the truth about this. And whatever happens, happens. And you tell them. The fear of rejection, the fear of being unfriended, the fear of some kind of reprisal for telling someone the truth sort of flees away from you when you're just bathed in love. It's actually love casts out fear. Fear is ultimately related to being judged, like you're afraid that you're going to be judged. But if you know that God's standing there, proud of you for being willing to risk something in the service of truth and love, I don't know how to explain it other than that you're just in a powerful stream that moves you forward to do it. And I know many of you want to grow in that ability to speak the truth in love in a way that the culture would look at as boldly. And the engine of that, or the fuel of our engine, is the fact that we love people. We love you enough to tell you that there are certain ways of living and certain things you can do that will destroy your relationship to the Lord and to other people and ultimately to life itself. So I'm very excited about Timothy as a follow-up to Daniel. It makes a lot of sense. And maybe one more thing I'll say about that is that when you're reading about visions about a golden statue and about strange animals and beasts, it isn't always readily apparent how that's going to apply to your life. Not true with Timothy. Timothy is written by an apostle to a pastor for how the church should structure itself, what it should be about, what it shouldn't be about, and it's just so specifically relevant for us as a church that it was not going to be hard. I mean, how hard is it to draw an application out of that your aim and your charge is love that issues from a pure heart, a good conscience, and a sincere faith? I mean, we just know. All you have to think about is, okay, how does my love need to be more conditioned by the truth, and how can I be more vocal about that when I need to be? So the applications are so rich and powerful, And so you can already be reading Timothy in advance. I might challenge you to read the entire book of Timothy all in one sitting just to get kind of an overview. And you'll hear in the sermon that the questions are already online for our discipleship communities, or call them Bible studies or small groups. They're already online.